Behind the clouds, far, far away, the Christmas toy factory has finally opened its doors. In one team, there were elves with red hats making tiny toys. And in the other team, there were elves with green hats preparing gift wrapping. When a toy was completed, they were dropping it down the slide. The toy was falling on a soft pillow at the end of the long slide. An elf with a green hat was taking that toy and placing it in a gift-wrapped suitcase. Another elf was preparing the ribbon of the box and handing it to the other elf. He, on the other hand, was entering the sack room to place the prepared package in the sacks. They had to fill all the sacks before 12 o'clock at night. Santa Claus, on the other hand, used to snore during the day as he was handing out gifts to the children all night. That's why the elves were working so quietly. However, that day, the green-hatted elf, Roy, accidentally walked in through another door with the package in his hand.
Whoa!
Roy, who fell into the void as soon as he took a step, found himself in a child's wardrobe.
Where am I? Oh! Open the doors! Open!
Just then, little Joe, playing with his toys in his room, was terrified when he heard the sounds coming from inside his wardrobe.
Get me out of here! Help!
Who's there?
When Joe gathered all his courage and opened the wardrobe door, little elf Roy appeared.
Ah!
Who are you? What are you doing in my wardrobe?
Well, actually, who are you? Where are Santa Claus's sacks?
What? Santa Claus? There's no such thing as Santa Claus.
Of course there is. He's real. Where do you think the gift that is on your bedside table every Christmas comes from?
Roy told the cute boy Joe about the Christmas gift factory and what they were doing there one by one.
Now I have to get back to the factory as soon as possible. Santa shouldn't notice my absence, but I don't know how to get back.
Joe thought for a while and had an idea.
If Santa Claus is real, flying deer can be real too. Let's go to the forest and find a deer. Maybe she can take you to the factory.
So Joe and the elf Roy set off on a whim. The big forest was covered with snow. Joe and Roy soon saw a deer playing with cones.
Here it is, a deer. She looks a little small, but I think she can carry you.
Together, they walked to the deer.
Hello, dear.
Oh, an elf! What are you doing here? While Roy was telling what happened to him, Joe was listening to their conversation with amazement. Roy asked the deer to take him back to the factory. Oh, I could do this in days of yore. My hooves have forgotten how to fly. Sorry, elf.
Try it once, please.
The deer could not say no to the elf and tried to fly. But she only took a little bit off the ground. Joe and Roy thanked the deer for trying to help anyway and continued on their way. A little later, in front of a dried cabbage garden, they saw a sad man. The man was so scared when he noticed the elf with a green hat.
Huh? Who are you? Or aren't you from this world?
Well, yes, we can say that, but you don't have to be afraid of me. Looks like you need some help.
I used to make my living from this garden, but a toxic sandstorm recently rotted all my vegetables.
Roy and Joe were very upset with the man's condition. Roy turned his eyes to the clouds and called to them.
Sweet clouds, come and pour your healing rains on this garden!
Suddenly, a lot of clouds gathered in the sky. every cabbage touched by pink drops came to life one by one. The man jumped with joy.
Wow! You can talk to both deer and clouds!
My cabbages! They're saved! What can I do for you?
Roy and Joe told the man what had happened.
Oh, kids. I wish there was something I could do. I don't know how to get to Santa's land. I can only give you this.
The man took a coin from his pocket and handed it to Roy. Roy and Joe took the money and went on their way, not knowing what to do. After a while, they saw an antique shop in the city center.
Ah, look! A small helicopter! Maybe you can fly with it to the factory! Let's go inside!
Joe rushed in excitedly. Roy followed him. When the little elf saw the old man inside, he hid between the shelves so as not to frighten him.
Hello! What can I buy with this money?
Wow! A rare piece! You can have whatever you want with it, kid!
While wandering curiously between old clocks and coffee tables, Joe found a large, dusty candle next to a faded vase. Something was written on the candle in a language he had never seen before.
Hey, Roy! Look! Have you seen letters like this before?
Roy, who was jumping up and down between the shelves, was very surprised to see the candle.
I can't believe this! This is the elves' one-wish candle! The writings on it are also in Elvish!
What's the one-wish candle?
A tiny gift Santa gave to the elves years ago. An elf makes a wish, closes his eyes, and it comes true!
Roy put his hand on the candle. The candle was lit by a bright yellow light. Roy made a wish and closed his eyes. That's when the little green-hatted elf disappeared with the candle. Joe waved happily to the void Roy had left behind. The next day, waking up on the first day of the year, Joe found a carefully packaged gift on his bedside.
Oh, it must be Santa Claus! Mommy! Daddy!
Joe happily opened the package. Inside the package was a green candle, whose yellow light was always on. Joe held the candle tightly and promised himself he would never stop helping his friends, because the light never goes out in hearts that don't give up on goodness.